Alright folks, welcome back to the channel, your go-to place for all things Rangers. Let's get right into it because there's a lot to unpack. After Tuesday night's match with Middlesbrough up next and then that absolutely crucial second leg in Athens against Panathinaikos, now let's be honest, the result on Tuesday was decent. A win is a win, and given how much is riding on European qualification, we'll take it. But if we're being really honest, the performance wasn't all that. The first half bang average, we lacked energy, movement and direction. Second half much better. We looked sharper, more purposeful, and took advantage when they went down to 10 men. And rightfully so. The lad got 2 yellows, one for simulation and one for that late challenge on Finlay Curtis. And the referee had no choice but look aside. From the result and the individuals who stepped up, there's a deeper issue we need to talk about. And that is the lingering, damaging culture of sentimentality at this football club. It's been a real problem for years. Far too many decisions, lineups, and even captaincy choices have been made based not on form or ability but on emotion, on memories, on what someone did 3 or 4 years ago instead of what they're doing right now, and it's holding us back. You can't build a winning team on loyalty to past glories. It doesn't work in modern football, and it definitely doesn't work at a club trying to claw its way back to the top. Let's be real. Rangers have a tendency to hang onto players far past their prime. It's like there's a fear of change. A fear that if we move on from someone who's been here a long time, we're somehow being disloyal or disrespectful, but that's not how winning football works. You win by evolving, by being ruthless when you need to be, and right now we need to be ruthless. Now let's address the elephant in the room, James Taverner. Yeah, I said it, James Taverner. Look, the man has done a lot for this club, no one's denying that. But the level of worship around him has reached cult-like proportions. It's genuinely bizarre. You even dare to suggest he should be dropped and you get labeled all sorts. You're not a real fan, go support Celtic, you're a Tim, you're clueless, and all that nonsense. Like questioning one player suddenly makes you the enemy. Come on. I've been following football all my life, Rangers fan for close to 40 years. I've got mates who support all sorts of clubs. Leicester, Coventry, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United, even AC Milan. And I've never seen anything like it. No other fanbase holds on to one player the way some of our support clings to Tav. It's like he's beyond criticism, like some kind of footballing messiah who can do no wrong. But here's the truth, he's not immune to decline. He's not playing at the level he once was. And pretending otherwise doesn't help the team, it hurts us. Let's not sugarcoat. Tuesday night, Taverner was one of the worst players on that pitch. Not the worst, that award goes to Kieran Dowell in my book, but Tav was right up there. He looked lost, his positioning was off, he switched off defensively more than once. And honestly, he just didn't look like he knew where he was supposed to be. And this isn't new, we've seen this same pattern for the last 3 seasons. His defensive awareness has declined, his legs are going, and yet week after week he starts. And why? Because he's the captain, because he once dragged us to a European final. Let's address that argument too. Yes, he had a huge role in that Europa League run, but he didn't do it alone. That hole he single-handedly took us to the final line is not only false, it's disrespectful to players like Ryan Kent, John Lundstrom, Glenn Kamara, and Alan McGregor, who all had massive contributions. McGregor made some of the best saves of his career in that campaign. Lundstrom was a warrior in midfield. Kent was electric. So let's stop pretending that Tav did it all on his own. Football is a team game. And that European run was what? 3-4 years ago. You can't keep living off past moments. If that's the logic, let's bring back John Greig while we're at it. He won the Cup Winners' Cup in 1972. Should he start next week? To know, because he's past it. Just like Tav is now, it's time we acknowledge that. Now some will say, oh, but he offers so much going forward. But he's not a winger. He's a right back. His primary job is to defend, and right now he's not doing that well enough. If he was a winger, maybe we could debate his role. Maybe he could come on as a late sub, push up the pitch, give us width. Maybe even play right wing back in a different system, but not at right back. Not when there's a better option sitting right there, Max Aarons. And don't even start with the comparisons. Aarons played out of position on the left the other night and struggled, of course. He's a right footer playing on the wrong side. But when he got moved back to his natural side, you could see the difference instantly. He was confident, aggressive, drove forward, won the ball. He looked miles ahead of Tav in terms of mobility, awareness, and intent. So if Tav fans want to judge Max Aarons while he's out of position, how about we try putting Taverner at left back for a change and see how he fares? Spoiler, he'd be worse. Let's be honest, the only reason Tav is still starting is because of his captaincy status, and that again is sentimentality. You can make anyone captain for a game. Sauter, Raskin, Barisic, pick your man. Leadership isn't about armbands, it's about performances. And if you look at Tav's leadership in recent years, it's been poor. I'm sorry, but when you're consistently part of a defense that leaks goals, when your communication is lacking, when your head drops in big games, what kind of message does that send? And this idea that multiple managers have picked him, so he must be great. Come on, use your head. All those managers who stuck by him, they all got sacked. There's a pattern here. When your captain is a defensive liability and you refuse to address it, the team suffers. Managers lose their jobs. We fall behind Celtic again and again. You know what's really frustrating? We've got a top-class right back and Max Aaron's a proper player who can grow with this team. And yet we're bending over backwards, crowbarring him into left back just so we don't have to bench Tav. It's nonsense. It's weakening our team. And if Russell Martin wants to survive in this job, wants to win trophies, wants to compete in Europe, he needs to drop Taverner. It's that simple. And yeah, I know what's coming. The hate, the abuse, the Tav defenders calling me a Tim, calling me clueless, saying I should support someone else. But let me ask you this. Do you care more about Rangers winning or about one man playing every week no matter what? Because some of these fans, I swear, would rather finish second to Celtic every year than see their precious Taverner dropped. They've basically turned this into Tav FC instead of Rangers FC, and it's insane. Let's just call it what it is. He's past his best. He's not up to the standard required anymore. And clinging onto him out of fear, nostalgia, or blind loyalty isn't helping anyone. Not him, not the manager, and certainly not the team. Right, let's switch gears a bit and talk about some actual positives from Tuesday, because there were a few worth mentioning. Joe Rothwell, what a performance. Playing in that number 6 role, he was outstanding, exactly what we've been crying out for. He anchored the midfield, protected the backline, moved the ball quickly and intelligently. And more importantly, he freed up Nicholas Raskin to do what he does best. Drive forward, pass with intent, and actually influence the game in the final third. You could see the difference immediately. Raskin looked more natural, more effective. And that's down to Rothwell doing the dirty work behind him. Rothwell reminded me of a quarterback in American football. Everything went through him. He dictated tempo, won the ball back, recycled it smartly, and just gave us control in a way we've not seen in ages. I'm not exaggerating. He looked like a proper midfield general, the kind of player we've missed since the days of Pete Davis or even back to Barry Ferguson, and you can tell he's got experience. He's played in winning teams, knows how to manage a game, knows when to slow it down and when to ramp it up. That kind of maturity is invaluable, and that's the kind of mentality we've needed for so long. A player who doesn't accept second best, who's not just happy to be here, but wants to dominate. Rothwell's come from sides with a winning culture, and you can see it in the way he plays. No fear, no hesitation, just proper grown-up football. And he's vocal to barking instructions, keeping players focused, making sure everyone's in position. That kind of presence lifts the whole team, and if Russell Martin wants to implement that high possession, fast transition style he's known for, Rothwell is going to be absolutely vital. Now another lad who caught my eye, and probably yours too, was Finlay Curtis. Look, the first half he struggled a bit, no point denying that. He looked nervous, maybe even overwhelmed. But come on, he's 18 years old, starting in a Champions League qualifier. Most of us at 18 were barely figuring out how to do laundry, let alone playing under that kind of pressure. Give the kid a bit of grace. What impressed me most was the response. Second half he looked like a different player, confident, aggressive, fearless. He picked up the ball, ran at defenders, took them on, didn't shy away, and then he gets his goal. That's the kind of mental strength and maturity you don't teach. That's instinct, that's heart. And that's exactly why he deserves more chances. For years now we've been screaming for the club to promote youth. Every window we bring in more signings while academy lads sit in the shadows. But now finally it feels like we've got a manager who's willing to give the kids a shot. Curtis is the perfect example of why you do that. He's hungry, he's passionate, he's not coasting on past glories, he's playing like every game could be his last. And that energy is infectious. Fans feel it, players feel it, and more importantly, it pushes the rest of the squad to raise their level. It sends a message: if you don't perform, there's a young lad ready to take your spot. And let's not pretend this is just about sentiment. Giving youth a chance is good football sense, but it's also smart business. You want to build a sustainable Model, develop talent, make money on sales. Well, you've got to play these boys first. Otherwise, they'll keep heading down south just like we've seen far too often. We've lost so many good kids to English clubs because they don't see a pathway here. They see clubs like Liverpool, Man City, even Aston Villa giving teenagers real chances. And they look at Rangers and wonder if it's even worth staying. We've got to change that. Russell Martin seems to be aware of it, and if Curtis continues to take his chances like he did Tuesday, then there's no excuse. Keep him in the squad. Let him grow. Let him develop in real games. There's no substitute for match experience, and he's already shown he can handle the occasion. Now, before we wrap this up, we've got to give a shout out to Jack Butland. Let's be real, last season he was shocking. No confidence, no authority. Looked like a shadow of himself, but credit where it's due. Tuesday night he was immense. For top-class saves, proper goalkeeper's performance. And yeah, I've seen the daft takes online. That's just his job. He's supposed to save shots. Of course he is. But there's saving shots, and then there's pulling off worldies that keep your team in the game. He did that. Save in the first half, where the ball comes across Panathinaikos, lad hits it full force. Butland throws himself and gets a strong paw on it. That's not standard goalkeeping. That's instinct, reflex, and guts. That's what you want from your number one, and you could see in his body language, he's feeling sharp again. He's believing in himself again, and that's huge. Because a confident keeper spreads calm across the entire backline. When the guy behind you's solid, you don't panic, you trust. And that changes everything. If Russell Martin can keep this version of Butland, the one we saw in his first season, who was knocking on the door for England, then we're sorted between the sticks. No need to look elsewhere. No need to waste budget. We've got our guy. All he needed was confidence and a manager who believes in him. So let's take stock. We've got a new midfield general in Rothwell. We've got a rising academy star in Curtis. We've got a reborn goalkeeper in Butland. And we've got Max Aarons, a proper right back who's being held back by one big issue: the refusal to drop James Taverner. And that, my friends, is where this all circles back. Because as long as we let nostalgia dictate our starting 11, we'll never get where we want to be. It's not personal. It's not about disrespect. It's about doing what's right for Rangers. And right now, playing Taverner at right back in big games is not right for Rangers. It weakens us. It makes us predictable. It puts unnecessary pressure on a defense that's already fragile. We've got the talent. We've got the youth. We've got the potential. But we need to be brave enough to make the big calls. And if we're not, if we keep picking names instead of performances, then we'll stay second best. And I don't know about you, but I'm sick of second best. I'm sick of clapping guys off the pitch after another derby loss, another cup exit, another European collapse. I want trophies. I want progress. I want Rangers back at the top. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. There's a bit of a stir making the rounds in Govan this week, as whispers grow louder about Jamie McGrath being on the verge of sealing a move to Rangers on a 4-year deal. While nothing official has come out of Ibrox just yet, sources close to the situation suggest the Donegal-born midfielder could be pulling on the light blue jersey. Before long, McGrath, currently with Aberdeen, has quietly impressed across the Premiership over the last few seasons, carving out a reputation as a tidy, technically gifted operator with an eye for a pass and the work rate to match, having previously turned heads at St Mirren and Wigan before settling at Pittodrie. The 27-year-old has shown he can mix it in the heat of Scottish football, something not every signing south of the border has managed. What's really catching attention, though, is the length of the proposed deal. A 4-year contract would signal serious intent from Rangers, suggesting that the Ibrox hierarchy see McGrath not just as a squad player, but as someone to build around in the coming campaigns. Some insiders reckon it's Felipe Clement himself pushing for the deal, having admired McGrath's intelligence on the pitch and versatility in midfield. Fans are divided. As ever, some are questioning whether McGrath has the quality to make a true impact in the blue half of Glasgow, particularly with Europe once again in sight. Others, though, are pointing to his consistency and experience in the league, arguing that under the right manager, McGrath could flourish at a club with Rangers' stature. There's no official word from Aberdeen yet, and neither camp is giving much away, but with the summer window ticking along and preseason already underway, the noise is getting harder to ignore. Whether it's paper talk or a deal genuinely in the works, it's one that's got the terraces talking. Only time will tell if McGrath's next chapter is at Ibrox, but don't be surprised if this particular rumor turns into reality sooner rather than later. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.